Today on my Travel Ones podcast, I'm lucky to have Francess McGee, aka Abominatrix. How are you today, Francess?
Doing good. Hey, Pete, what's up?
Well, talking to a friend. It's different talking to somebody I actually know personally. You're a professional roller skater,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to talk about some of the places and things you've done for roller skating. Yeah, I think, you know, as a roller skater, a non-professional roller skater, people just think it's just like a hobby. And like anything, if you take it serious enough and you get good at it, you can make a living at it and make some money and see very cool things.
Absolutely.
How long have you been? Kind of give us a background of your skating background.
Ooh, all right. I think I started about 14 years ago, and it might be like a little bit longer than that. It gets fuzzy, especially since I'm the kind of person who, after after a period of time, I just stop clocking it and just
Sure.
focus
It,
on the goal is like just the work rather than like how long have I been doing this. But about 14 years ago, here in Hawaii, where I am currently at the
yeah.
moment, I started roller skating out here, and the whole goal in that was to simply pick up a hobby and meet some new people,
Sure.
maybe get a little fit. And then while I was trying to learn how to do it, I found it incredibly difficult. It wasn't like naturally did not come to me the way that I thought that.
That it should.
Yeah, like I was like, how come I can't do this? This sucks, you know?
I know that feeling.
And I spent a lot of time in parking lots by myself, just wobbling around like a little Bambi feet, holding onto the fence and, dealing with, my neighbors or the guy I was dating at the time going like, are you sure
Yeah.
you want to be doing this?
Why are
This
we
is
doing
like,
this?
this is some kid stuff. And I was like, no, I want to learn how to do this. And as I was learning, I was feeling more empowered
Sure.
with myself and stronger, physically stronger, but mentally stronger and emotionally stronger. And I thought, wow, this is kind of interesting that just a physical practice of picking up something that I thought was for kids or whatnot,
Yeah. Yeah.
actually making me feel like a strong, empowered woman. And the other people I was skating around and learning with at the time were also going through that evolution as well.
Yep.
And I thought, wow, it would be really great if I was good at this. And then somewhere in the beginning, when I was learning how to go from one wall across a complete open plane, not holding on to anything, to the other wall, just that cruise for the first time across that space, I actually had this feeling, like this sensation inside and in my mind and in my body that I was like, this is completely for me. This is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. This is the thing that I am supposed to be doing in my life for myself and like for other people. Other people have to catch this same exact feeling, like this amount of stoke. I want people to experience this. And at the time I was doing bail bonds, working in the bail bond industry, managing an office. And it was very like testosterone. I'd just go ahead and say toxic masculinity. It would be like the tone and energy of that whole thing. But I just was like, I gotta get out of this. And when I was skating, I felt like it gave me an avenue to one, process that,
Yeah.
and two, the time to kind of come up with a plan to create something for myself. And within those first couple of years, I ended up opening a skate shop out here in Honolulu called Cherry Bomb Skates. And I put it in a bar called the Mercury Bar in the Chinatown. And the guy who owned the bar was like, this is an excellent idea. Like, it's a speakeasy roller skate shop. That makes total sense. And which it didn't, because,
Of course.
families need to buy skates. But at the time, it happened and it worked, and it was my avenue. It was the way that I
Yeah.
could like, fulfill this passion. And at a certain point, I was like, man, I want to keep going with this. I have to go beyond this island. I need to move and explore this more.
Yeah.
So I ended up shutting down that shop, moving to San Francisco, and then to Oakland and pursuing roller derby with the Bay Area Derby girls out there. And they did like Division 1 roller derby with WIFTA flat track rules, and it's a whole thing, people. Trust me when I tell you, it's
That's where the Abominatrix name came from.
that actually, Abominatrix is a name that I gave myself here in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
I did roller derby out here as well, which was way more ragtag. Definitely not like Division 1. We prided ourselves in being second from the last in like the ranking, the worldwide ranking of like roller derby at the time. Our team was like second from the last, and we're like second from the last. Woo,
Not quite last.
you know.
Not good enough to be
Yeah,
last.
it wasn't. We were still in, but we could be fun because it wasn't so bad. You know, when I played clarinet, it was like, okay, I'm second from the last chair. I'm still in, but you know.
So you're in San Francisco or Oakland doing doing D1 roller derby.
That's right. And Division 1 roller derby out there, and then started doing like the coaching program. I got really into teaching other skaters how to skate along the way.
Cool.
Because again, like sharing that stoke, that entire feeling, and leading people through the natural process of like learning something. Nobody is born with skates on their feet.
Yeah.
No one's born with them. So everyone has to learn how to do it. And it can feel really challenging for a lot of people. And since I'm somebody who had experienced that and was able to hone my skills by just practicing fundamentals and really focusing on that. One of my big heroes is Rodney Mullins. And he's a skateboarder, and back in the day, he did like freestyle skating, which was like this very technical movement of the board that had style and like musicality to it, I would say. And that the way that he approached skating always had an influence on me when I was learning how to skate out here in Hawaii. There was a lot of skateboarding, a lot of surfing, things like that, that entire aesthetic where you have to take the time to allow yourself to meet yourself in that natural plane and learn it and be in flow with your movement. Like that was all a part of that process of me like learning at the very beginning. So giving that back to people when I was at Bay Area was key. So absorbing people into that whole derby system can be like very aggressive, but my goal was to keep it as mellow and close to that person's personal expression as possible. Like no need to conform with roller skating. Everyone's their own individual person, you know?
That's kind of what I like about it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people are left-footed, some people are right-footed. You know, some people want to spin, some people just want to skate straight, some people want to jump more, some people want to do skate park, some people want to do derby.
You can do any of it. You can do it all if you want to. And there's a lot of room to grow with it. And roller skating is something that is the American Heart Association actually a long time ago made a statement that it is a lifelong sport. So it's a sport that you can do for a long time. And it's like, in what capacity do you want to do it? And for me, I started in a really aggressive, way with like roller derby, and then eventually rechanneled that back into flow and just really sticking to that because one, I don't like to get injured that much, and two, it sucks, but it's also part of it. It's also
it is, but it does suck, especially as you get older.
Oh man, I know it. So but in that Bay Area time, which was really cool to go from Hawaii to San Francisco and then to Oakland. During that time phase, it was a pretty sweet experience to go into like this big, gritty warehouse every week and have a whole training routine with the travel team and the B team. And those were the teams that would go and compete. And then they had these home team levels where you really build the camaraderie there locally. And then this recreation level. And I loved teaching the rec level. Like anything that has to do with fun and skating, I'm all about amplifying that. And that was where I really came to accept the fact that I love teaching people how to skate. And that being on that league gave me the opportunity to start traveling more than back when I started in Hawaii. Although we did travel when I was on the Hawaii team.
Did you
I skated
travel to
in
other
Alaska.
islands or different parts of Oahu?
Yeah, we would travel to different parts of Oahu just for practices in general, but we would go to the other islands and have these
Nice.
inter island battles. And then we went to not Australia, pardon me, Alaska.
Oh wow.
Very fun. Roller derby in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska. There's an arena, and it was like packed. I mean, I had never done a roller derby game anywhere where the stadium was packed. But
Now, the one thing I wanted to ask you is when you travel for roller derby or even as a coach, right? You have your skates, but then like, have you ever gone like I'm just thinking because you said Alaska, it's like something happens to your skates, you need this or that. I mean, how much extra stuff are you trying to bring with you? Because you might get there and they don't have it.
yeah, you got to prepare for like the worst case scenario. So like packing your skate tools in a place where, the security people won't get alarmed by it. And then they're like, "What is this?" No, 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 it's
It's a
not a
bearing puller.
baton. It's a bearing pole. Like this is how you use it. And they're like, "All right, we won't take it this time." But yeah, you got to pack a couple tools, bearings.
Yeah.
Always have extra bearings. I made a mistake once or twice, and I'll never do that again. And then some extra wheels. And the most important thing is pivot cups. Those can explode. Just, the things that could go wrong on your skates are bearings, pivot cups, trucks.
Yeah.
Just have like an extra.
Yeah. I mean, you have
It's
to,
a live
right?
and learn scenario. Yeah, I have a bag of trucks, a bag of pivot cups, a bunch of bearings that, are old, but they're in a
But
pinch.
they work. Yeah.
Oh, they totally work. A bunch
Yeah.
of tools, and I leave them all over the place. I traveled to Alaska with a tool. It's in Alaska. I forgot it. Great, but at least I have my skates.
That's
Always have more
always.
than one tool.
I used to take my pillow with me, to have my own pillow from home when all the traveling I do,
Yeah.
and I left it at the hotel room. And Wendy's like, no more, don't, because don't bring anymore. I'm
Yeah.
not terrible. I've left clothes behind. I've left stuff behind. Because in the morning I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my next appointment. I'm not thinking about always packing everything up. I've left stuff behind.
Yeah. The pillow thing, not too big of a deal for me, but the skate tool thing, like
Yeah.
it's a problem. Like I coming out here to Hawaii this time, I brought one tool and I was like, if I lose it, I lose it. It's on me this time, which it's always on me because I'm always losing them. I'd love to have a tool sponsor. That would be the most magical thing ever because I lose that that often. It would be nice to have a sponsorship just for that.
It would be funny to put on that tool if found, return to Abominatrix or something, return to
I,
Hey A-Bomb.
that would be smart. That would be a
Yeah.
smart thing to do. I need to label them because it's that serious. Spray paint them like hot pink. And I know.
When you were growing up, did you? I mean, obviously you weren't skating, but I mean, it's kind of weird to think. Like when I tell people I know professional roller skaters, they're like, "You mean like that thing they do at birthday parties?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, there's been a big resurgence, I'd say, in the last 2 to 3 years? Because I know I'm part of that wave. But have you, what? How many waves have you seen so far? Like, or is it was it kind of flat and then just picked up?
Yeah, when I first started skating, we were definitely part of a new wave, a new generation of skaters coming into it, and coming into it from an obscure path.
Yeah,
So definitely an alternative path from it was outside of like the association that had been going on for a long time, like the figure skating, the dance
sure.
skating, the artistic skating. Um, so it was definitely a different way in. So we were like a wave that came through that was new and different. And then within that like derby wave, it definitely came up and then it tapered back down, came up a little bit more, and then it just started expanding. Like it moved outside of roller derby.
Yeah,
Well, more people were going outside and exploring skate parks and street skating.
yeah.
And then the jam skating and rhythm skating scene never went away. But because of that resurgence through this alternative wave that went and expanded and went outdoors for,
And it
again,
got a little bit bigger. Yeah,
they just found it. Like people found each other because they were going outside of the system. And the rhythm skating and the jam skating was never a part of the association in the first place. So it was always on the fringe and always on the outside. So I found it to be kind of interesting that roller derby and park skating found jam and rhythm skating,
yeah.
like these outside angles. Like we found each other through the pandemic, and before that too. But
Yeah, a little bit, but like
yeah,
so much so, I'm seeing a lot more roller skates in commercials. I'm seeing them in
yeah,
TV shows. And also, and maybe it's because like when you buy a red truck, also you see a lot of red trucks. So now, but I just don't remember ever seeing. I mean, yeah, every once in a while, I guess you'd see a roller skater, but now I'm seeing them a lot more in the last probably year. It seems like I'm just
absolutely. Yeah, the brands and the industries that are out there
yeah,
are seeing the phenomenal trend, but the trend is really meaningful to the people who are doing it.
sure.
It's not a trend to them once they're in. They're like, nah, this is my lifestyle. Like this is happening. This has been happening. And that coupled with I think the rise in awareness of people of color and
Hmm.
trying to do better about representation, those two things together I think have made a big influence or impact on brands, commercials, marketing.
Well, and I'll go ahead and say, I mean, you're definitely part of that. Being in the what was the magazine that you were just
Uh,
was it
Elle,
L? Yeah.
yeah, Elle magazine. So they did a little piece about skaters that to keep an eye out on, like skaters of color who are doing work out there in the community, and
Yeah,
who to watch out for. Ooh, that's me.
that was you.
And some other like really fabulous people as well. But definitely, that was an honor for sure.
Very cool.
Um, and like my grandmother had been skating, her brother had been skating, my cousin, who's much older than me. My family's very big, but they are all skaters, and skating had been something that was very much culturally a part of our lives. And
And it's
to see it
continuing.
out
Yeah,
out there, yeah, to see it out in the public was like really, really exciting. And so I did the Old Navy
yeah.
campaign.
Which you
um,
were featured where?
oh yeah, Times Square, baby.
Come on now. That's pretty dope.
So exciting. Yeah, that was a fabulous opportunity as well to have a billboard up in Times Square, which
Pretty.
was
That's pretty crazy.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it was neat. And I went to New York City and skated it.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta skate. I gotta skate when I get
What are
there.
some of the places you've skated at? Just skated, not for anything. I mean, New York City, Alaska,
Yeah,
which I didn't know about. Obviously,
yeah.
Hawaii,
New York City, Hawaii, Alaska, Texas,
Vegas.
Vegas a lot. I love Vegas at night.
Yeah.
Really good. Arizona. Oh man, where else? Where else? Hmm. Portland, Washington. I,
That's pretty,
I'm, yeah,
that's pretty crazy to think that you've been all these places with roller skates.
yeah. And I want to go international,
Yeah,
like
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Looking forward to that. I'm gonna go next year, hopefully. That's the goal.
Yeah, Wendy wants us to bring our skates to Japan if we get to go.
Do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
How
hear
how
that's beautiful.
how much of a pain is it traveling? I mean, because skates are awkward, bulky. Do you bag them up or do you just carry them?
I carry them. I use
The
like a
strap.
yoga strap,
Yeah.
or they make these leashes that are just like a yoga strap, except a more appropriate length. And you just string them up, throw them over your shoulder, walk onto your plane. You can do it with your bags, with your carry-on. They're not going to take it away from you or anything like that. Matter of fact, it's like easier for like the security check people to like, you know, see
Go
it.
through them. Yeah.
Already out, cool, it skates, awesome, no problem. And
I
sometimes,
imagine.
if you're really lucky, you can get away with skating inside of the airport itself.
See, that's what I would think. That'd be kind of cool,
Yeah.
just to throw them on.
Yeah. Best time to do it is like late, not a whole lot of people moving
Yeah.
through. That's the time.
Do you,
That's when to make it happen.
I would. Yeah. My deal is like obviously that's not allowed, but that's part of
Oh, yeah.
the skate culture, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not, there's so many places you're not supposed to skate, but it's a matter of like your attitude that you're bringing to it. How reckless are you really being?
And then how cool are you when you get caught?
Yeah, just be so chill.
Yeah.
It's all right. Sometimes people have to tell you no, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just
Don't give them back attitude. We
yeah.
because when we went to Nashville, right across the street was this big was the state capitol building and a big marble floor. I mean, huge.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, I didn't bring my skates, but I'm like, man, I'm gonna come back. That's and then
No,
right there, no roller skating. Like,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay. So, and then I was watching some videos of trying to find if there were some skate parks in Nashville, and I saw a video of guys roller skating on that same marble floor. I'm like, all
Oh,
right,
yeah. That's the thing. It's like there's such a fine line between blowing a spot up
yeah,
and then enjoying a spot discreetly,
yeah,
you
just
know?
hitting it, and
Yeah, like go keep it moving, get in there, do your thing, be really aware, keep your periffs aware for that security guard doing their walk by. And um, so it's a fine line, and it definitely takes some
yeah,
time to learn the grace and balance of an exit slash return, like a second dip. You got to be careful. And it's tough too with like the Instagram, like just the
don't
online
post it.
presence of
Yeah,
people getting their clips and putting them out there. You can blow up a perfectly awesome spot that people have been enjoying for years by
yeah,
just putting it all over the internet and telling people where it is. And in terms of etiquette and navigating your city on skates, it's worth not blowing it up.
and it's because that's why I always tell my daughters, I go, you think we didn't do stupid things when we were your age? We just didn't record it. Like there's no video proof of us doing the same stupid things that you're showing people. It's
Yeah.
like it's kind of the same way, right? It's like, hey, go enjoy the park, but don't Don't blow it up, like you said.
Yeah, I'm enjoying right now. There's a few of, like, the younger generation of kids that are getting out and street skating and stuff that are have finally picked up that beautiful sense of etiquette, and they're
Yeah.
like, don't ask me where this spot is. They're
Yeah.
just saying, don't ask. Don't ask. You got to get out and learn it for yourself, and you either sink or swim, kind of.
Find your own. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll end it with this. What do you see as the future of being a professional roller skater and giving lessons? And I mean, in some ways, I think it's easier. You have a great website. You have social media presence, but there's also more people trying to do it, right? So it's kind of that balance of what do you see as the future?
I definitely see more facilities
Oh,
opening
cool.
up. In my mind's eye, in my heart, I see facilities that are capable of embracing the multidimensional aspects of skating, because there's no one type that can fit
Yeah.
under the traditional umbrella that is roller skating, in terms of like the sport of roller skating. What the industry standard is no more. It doesn't exist like that anymore. We broke the internet and we broke the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Okay. So to have locations that respect and reflect that will be beautiful. And that's all the aspects of skating and the different demographics that that includes.
Sure.
And I also see more travel and more cities embracing and creating infrastructure that welcomes their communities that have existed, and continue to grow and flourish during this time. An example of a city that's doing that is Oakland.
Okay.
Oakland, I lived in Oakland too, and while I was there, I skated with a small group, like a band of misfits. There were like five of us, and then we just kept skating and skating and welcoming people to join us, which I'm sure you know. I love doing that.
Yep.
And it grew, and now there's multiple groups of people who work together like that. All of these different skate networks work together to create a schedule of events, community events that happen, whether it's like lessons,
I gotcha.
parties, different things like that, and touring around town, large, critical mass type skating events that are
Yeah.
happening as well. And the mayor of the city actually redesigned portions of the city to make it more skatable.
Wow.
So not just more bikeable,
Is that
but more
mainly done by Lake Merritt
skatable.
and all that? Done by the
Lake
lake?
Merritt, they're putting in an outdoor skate rink, is been petitioned to happen
Nice.
in Oakland. So they're taking that more seriously, which is very exciting. And that was like a
Yeah.
grassroots community effort from this seed of people that have continued to do the work there in Oakland. And then they also put in like a corridor that is designed for pedestrians, bikes, and roller skating.
Where's that at? By the 880 or?
That's near, it's it's downtown and on its way to Lake Merritt. So there's
Okay.
like a skate that you can do through town that takes you down this corridor that's nice and wide and smooth, repaved. And they actually restructured the street so that there's less parking and more of a
Open space.
skatable area. Yeah. So, and I think it's better for shops and retails too.
It wasn't like that when I lived there.
No, it really is something that developed um, through this resurgence, through this new surge of people.
Isn't it amazing? Like now, when we go to new places, or when I travel to new places, I'm looking at the concrete to see if it's smooth. Could I skate it? What are the breaks? How big are the cracks?
Yeah,
I look at
yeah.
things totally different now.
Absolutely. And I travel around to different cities leading workshops that
Yeah.
specifically teach you how to approach your city. So, here in Honolulu, I'm back, and where I learned to skate. This is where I learned to street skate. This is where I learned to park skate. This is where I learned to play roller derby. So, being here and showing people who are interested in learning more about their city and how to navigate it on skates, you have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Or I'm creating an opportunity for people to have that at least. So,
Doing an awesome
yeah.
thing, helping people. But I
Love
think
it.
that's one thing I enjoy about the podcast is I get to share your story. So, and someone might listen to this or watch it, and you'll never know about it because maybe they won't reach out to you, but you might change the way they think. And also, they're like, maybe I should build a skate community in my, and it might be in a different country. You never know.
Absolutely. I mean, and it should. It
Sure.
should. Paris is someplace that I want to go, and in Paris they have a big rollout that happens every Monday. I believe it's every Monday in Paris. Giant critical mass street skate,
See, that's what
roller skates,
how,
rollerblades.
you need to get that set up. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because I know, like in Venice, they do that. They have that light up kind of parade thing, and it's bikes and skaters and anybody that puts a light on anything that's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen
Sunday
that.
nights.
So
Yeah. And I mean, and it was literally just, these rollouts were things that, a small group of us were doing, and it's easy to do in some
yeah,
ways. Um, and then it just grows. It's an infectious thing. Everyone wants to we're very social creatures.
sure.
Um, and roller skating is something that is an individual pursuit that will always bring you into community. It's something that you have to learn on your own in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
The resilience to stand on your own, to learn, to take those first rolls or stops or
yeah,
whatever it is. You really have to learn it on your own, but at a certain point, there comes the opportunity to be with other people, whether that's at a roller rink, at a skate
a park. Yeah,
party, or a class. The opportunities are growing, and I love being at the front of that, you know,
yeah.
and it's an exciting place.
You're such a natural skate, not a natural skater, but a natural flow skater that I think a lot of people can relate to you that way. Like because I think a lot of people look at the way you skate and go, that's what I want to do. Because a lot of the skaters I meet, and I'm like, oh, I know A Bomb gives me lessons, this and that. She goes, like, oh, I love the way she skates. So it's just a natural flow thing. So
Yeah,
makes
and
you a good
it's
teacher. But you are kind of
sinking
you are kind of
into it.
strict. Don't get it
I
twisted.
am. Yeah, because gravity is real. There's
Yeah.
like there's some fun physical rules when it comes to skating, and there's a lot of things that I figured out the hard way, and I want to show people that they're capable of getting the jump on that, and having some control over themselves, because when you can do that, that's when the freedom to
Well,
express can come.
because I've taken a couple of lessons with you, and you always talk about here's how you fall properly. I mean, that's just. I mean, when we did that thing at the Venice Skate Circle, you're like, here, let's slide on our knees now. Here's how
Yeah,
you fall. Here's how you put your hands down. Here's how. And then we did the same thing in
absolutely.
the skate park. So, and I can tell
Yeah,
you,
there's
it helps.
yeah. Oh, I'm glad that it does. And learning how to fall, I think, is one of the first tricks that anyone and everyone will learn on their skates,
Yeah,
besides moving forwards or backwards.
even if they
But
don't want to,
yeah, but you gotta learn,
you have to.
This is life, and the whole thing is almost a metaphor for life.
There's a crack or a rock somewhere that's going to reach out and grab your skate at some
Gotta
point.
get you. But don't worry, there's 6 different ways you can fall.
As the
You can
Zen
do it.
master. Well, cool. So,
Yes.
so what do you have coming up?
So this week here
Well,
in
not this week.
Honolulu. Oh yeah, well, So coming up this year, the beginning of next
Yeah,
year, I'm going to be doing some workshops that are moving through the West Coast. So we've got the Central Valley coming up in November, Bay Area, December, and then swinging back to Southern California come January.
nice.
So we'll be popping around and all that info and events that people can go to, which are multi-day workshops that also
Yeah,
have free meetups incorporated in it as well, because everyone likes some free fun, some free skating fun,
yeah,
and there's always the opportunity to learn along the way. And next year, at a certain point, there's going to be some international travel as well. So there's going to be an opportunity for people to jump on and do an international trip,
that's cool.
which is pretty cool.
What's the best way for the listeners to find out what you have coming up?
All right. Well, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Abominatrix. So that's Abomintrix. I have to finger spell it out for
Uh,
myself. Abominatrix. And I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook under Abominatrix as well. And you can also check out my website, heyabomb.com. That's
there you
HEYABOMB.com.
go. I'll include all the links on my website and all that too. So
Thanks. Right
absolutely,
on. Love it.
so cool. Like I said, it's very cool to like. It's very cool to get to know, the business person behind, you know, hanging out and being friends and all that. It's very cool.
Yeah. I've been enjoying watching your skate progression
Yeah,
myself.
it's.
Yeah.
I always get like, it's a weird thing, because I'm in my 50s, and I came home yesterday, and I was smiling, I was beaming. Why? Because I learned how to do a 180 off a curb. It's like it shouldn't be any big news, but it is for me.
But it is big news. I mean, who would roll towards a curb, leave it into the air, rotate, and land and continue to roll? Like,
Right.
if we really think about it, it's a wild concept. So like you should be stoked that you did that, you know? It's a physical and mental.
Yeah. I literally burn way more calories at a park in 45 minutes than I do skating for 3 hours on the Strand because I'm just nervous. I have to be completely focused when I'm at the park, and
Absolutely.
that's I guess it's, I won't ever do derby, but I'm excited to go watch some derby. Like I used to
Oh,
watch the LA the derby back in the 80s on the big ramps and all that,
yeah.
and
Bank track.
with my dad we'd watch on TV, and but I haven't seen any of the flat track stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, flat track stuff, it goes through an evolution like every couple of years. I think the team to watch, if you're going to look at some teams, I got some suggestions. The Victoria Roller Derby. They're an Australian team.
Okay,
Very good. Division One roller derby. It's like
Victoria.
watching like a rolling rugby match, but there's no ball. The ball is like a person that
Yeah.
has to pass through all of that. You know what I mean? So like that Victoria team is phenomenal to watch.
Okay.
So I would recommend. I root for Australia. Um, and the Texas team is all right, you know.
You better give him some credit.
They're really good too. New York, super solid. And then the Pacific Northwest has two really solid teams as well. So it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
the Derby teams out there now
But I want to see it
are
in person.
really
Like I
good.
can watch it on YouTube and all that, and but it's like ice hockey. Like I don't like watching ice hockey on TV, but man,
Yeah,
you go to the game, you're like, oh, you can see all the movements and you see everything versus
absolutely.
just what the camera wants you to see.
That's what I'm saying, man. When I
So
went to Alaska and we were playing there, surrounded by all those people, they loved it. They
yeah,
loved it. It was like it's aggressive, people are hitting each other, there's all this crazy strategy and all of that, which is pretty cool.
yeah,
But for me personally skating it, like the injuries were just like, I'm cool off all
That's why I
those
said I don't
injuries.
think I'll ever do it because I can't afford to get hurt.
Yeah,
That's
I've
a
gotten
big learning
hurt
curve.
way less on roller skates not
Yeah,
playing roller derby, but I still recommend it to those who have that edge.
yeah, that's not me. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll let
Oh,
you
wow.
go back to enjoying your Hawaiian fresh air.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been really cool. It's a
yeah.
treat.
I can't wait to see you back in person.
Right on, man. Looking forward to it.
All righty. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Francis.
Bye.
All right.